I just love these titles that people give themselves on LinkedIn and just in general. It speaks a lot. I was just having this conversation with my son, and um, we were talking about how on so there's these shorts, right? Like on TikTok and YouTube, there's these shorts, and if you're a pretty girl and you're dancing, you show a little bit of skin, and then all of a sudden all these people follow you, right? Like you get um tons of people, because I think like a lot of people either A, think, oh, if I subscribe and watch this person, man, she's gonna marry me. um and then on the opposite side, it's like, oh, if I follow, they're going to be my friend. And none of these things are true, but the human nature of it really drives us. That's what I was thinking about with LinkedIn when I was looking at all these titles people give themselves. They are so like not true at all, and they're all like really highlighting how amazing that they actually are, right? Like, whatever, you name it, it's like the best thing. And then you meet these people in real life, you're like, either A, um, oh my God, you are a total douchebag, which, and you're projecting based on this title, or you find out like, wait a minute, this title is not correlated at all with who you are, right? And then there's this small group that you're like, okay, that they're legit, they're kind of fun, right? Like, I want to be around these people, and it's a really small group. And I hate being that kind of person that is. I feel like I'm such a pretentious jerk talking about this, but I'm telling you, you will see this happen over and over and over again. And it's not generally not politeness in any sort of way or shyness. When you see this, it really is like people are trying to, there's this belief that you have to like fake it till you make it, or you have to sort of let other people know that you are somehow, you got your act together. Um, you know, Look at any aspect of life and you realize, oh crap, everybody is a giant mess, right? Like, if you start looking at statistics, aggregate statistics for like finances, for example, everybody projects like, look at how amazing I am. I got these perfect clothes. I'm all put together. I've got this beautiful vehicle in this great big house. You realize that they've got nickels that they can rub to their name, and that's just about it, right? And it's not even because that they're working their way up and trying hard. It's like they're broke. um if you look at like relationships, for example, and none of these things I'm perfect at, right? Like, I'm not saying any of these things, but I'm just saying like this is normal human behavior. You look at relationships, everybody sort of projects like, oh, we've got the perfect relationship, and then you get to know them, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know about this. There's something that's not quite right. Um, you name it. In terms of, this used to annoy the crap out of me in grades, right? Like, growing up, it would be like I would work my butt off, and I would get by, right? I would do okay. I was in high school, I was number two, whatever the hell that means. Um, for my last year, my first couple of years, I was like, it was a struggle. Um, and then in university, and there would always be, I would work my, and I especially started to work my butt off in the last few years. I'd work my butt off, and I would get A's. Um, but but I did not like to talk about. I still don't, like. I feel weird talking about this kind of stuff. It was, um, but there would be always somebody that would be like, I didn't have to study and I got an A. Like, I didn't study at all. This was so easy. All of these things. It's just, realizing that trying to be real, like trying to, and I'm not, and I don't like that term. I don't like authenticity. Um, I'm just saying, like, just function like a human being. Like some days are really rough, um, and you're falling apart, right? And other days, things are going somewhat well. But I think like these titles and all this kind of goofiness stuff that we give ourselves, it's like, come on, really? Is it is it that important? And the funny thing is, when you meet people that are legitimately that change your life, right? Like in terms of me, I've only met a few people in my life that have really been very influential and sort of changed me and how I looked at things. They generally are very, very understated, and it's not the person that um, that you'd ever expect, right? It's generally not the person with the title that actually has, true power. And there's all sorts of sociology work that's been written about this for probably 100 years now, where we've known this that there's a big difference between um, the sort of projection of what we put on, or even the titles, the sort of bureaucratic titles that sometimes we use, which at one point, like I want to remind people that these bureaucratic titles were just bureaucratic titles. They were boring, and now we've sort of used them to project in how wonderful that we actually are. Um, because it sort of means something, status, money, that kind of stuff. Um, it's just really interesting, right? And these things come full circle in terms of what they look like. And I feel like a pompous ass talking about this because, you know, this is what high status people do now is they talk about these things and they try not to be high status, like um, this is well documented, by the way. Like back in the 1950s, everybody wanted white bread, the Wonder Bread effect. Uh, then it became like now everybody wants like wholesome stuff. Um, I think we're kind of moving. This was like 10 years ago. I think, given with how I feel about things, and this is just an observation. This is not like things that are set in stone. But I think we're sort of moving past all that kind of stuff and just being like whatevs, right? Like I think a lot of this, particularly new generations, it's like whatevs. Meaning, you just kind of if you're kind of like that person that's really into things, then go after it. If you're not that person that's not into things, then that's fine. Okay, like that's okay as well. But the sort of high status is kind of acknowledging those things now, that there's kind of this nuance that happens. um and what I'm getting at is that even still with all these things, just go onto LinkedIn, take a look at this stuff, and you realize it's pretty funny. um all of these things, I'm hopefully I'm not like offending anybody, but at the same time it is pretty funny, with all these different titles that we like to give each other or give ourselves so that we can let other people know that we got our shit together. Um, yeah, it's just fun. What can you take away from this, right? I usually try to end. Um, I don't think you can take away anything. Like you can either it works, right? Like you can sort of try to do that high status stuff. That work obviously it works. Um, I I'm trying to take a different approach and just being complete opposite and being like, whatevs. I don't really. I mean, this stuff it's comical, um, and that's about it. So that's all I can think about with this. Is there any right way with doing one way or the other. So yeah, if you want to do the projection of status and all that kind of stuff, just remember that does work. But just remember, at some point in your life, there will come a moment where you have to reconcile this identity that you built up with who you actually are. And I've just reached so many breaking moments like that where I'm just like, I don't care anymore. This is just ridiculous. Um, and I just want to be me, just like the Sesame Street. I guess I grew up with too much Sesame Street, but yeah, um, that's it. That's at the end of the day. So there's not really a takeaway otherwise knowing, yeah, that stuff works, but it's just not who I am, and the way that I play the game takes a lot longer. Um, and people will discount you and all that kind of stuff, but oh well, you know, um, that's fine too. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day.